So welcome to the apparently one day of speaking about nothing. So welcome to the apparent underground, the apparent way out of the mainstream, out of understanding, non-duality, the apparent release of the misidentification of awareness as the absolute. This is like off grid, clarity without the dogma, lucidity of non doing, the transparency of everything, the glaringly obvious exit sign out of spirituality. It's kind of like going rogue, but no one's going rogue. So, this is the empty presence. In this apparent directness, not a presence as a separate soul or like a pure awareness, not as a higher self, not as the absolute, just the apparent presence void of any ideas of concepts, or worse, anything that is learned. In this apparent wordlessness, in the absence of the experience or the experiencer, there is this apparent empty presence. What is suggesting is not the present, not the present moment. The present does not exist because even before it has been perceived and recognized as such, it has become an apparent past. There's no past. The same applies to the apparent future. So this is the unicity of time. The present, the future, the past appearing as this empty presence. This empty presence appears as everything. This is also another exit for all of those held on to words that seems to capture or enslave even the apparent that there's an understanding to this, that there is words like pure, words like absolute, words as abiding, words as abidance, anything that has a doer, anything that has a subject or an object is just a suggestion of something that is non-duality, but there's no such thing as non-duality. So this is the glaringly obvious exit of everything that is apparently held onto. The moment that it's held onto, it becomes a belief system. It becomes dogmatic. It gets repeated over and over and over again. So in this apparent attempt to illuminate that there's nothing that needs to be held onto, that nothing needs to be known, nothing needs to be understood. So this empty presence that's being expressed here is the wordless of everything. The labels that are applied to this apparent understanding becomes as a guide. It's kind of like a subjugation almost. It's an enslavement of something that I've learned, something that I understand, something that I. So the moment that it includes the I, the moment that it includes this suggestion that I am a doer, is what's being illuminated here, that there's no such thing as a doer. A doer is just an idea. So any practices, any kind of remembrance. So what's being offered here, what's being expressed here is just this resonance. Resonance that doesn't have any words. Resonance, kind of like a remembrance, but nothing is in the past, but there's just an emptiness expressing emptiness to emptiness about this empty presence that is always, always present, that never wavers, that never changes, that never ceases. In this empty presence, everything arises, questions, answers, but everything that arises from this empty presence is unicity. It's the same. It's emptiness. It's the empty presence in everything. So everything that arises, like even let's just even say resonance. The moment that it becomes a definition, the moment it becomes a position, then it becomes something. So what's being offered in this next day, in this apparent 2 hour sessions, is just this empty presence that's present. Not in time, not in idea of time, not in understanding, not in getting something, but just this presence, this empty presence that doesn't have any label. And it's just this delicious obviousness. You can almost taste it. But since there's no one here, there's no one there, all of this is just this direct empty presence that's radiant, that is in everything and every single apparent moment. Um, and what's going to be apparently not encouraged, because there's no one to encourage, but being expressed here is that whatever is happening over there is as it is, empty, present, that's always there. In this appearance of this speaker speaking to apparent listeners in this apparent seeking, that's all empty, radiant presence. Even that seeking energy, even that thought, even that whatever seems to appear. What's also being discarded here is that the understanding that someone's got it, that someone will get it, that there is an authority, or there's someone special that gets it. When it's being expressed here that there's never been anyone here, just empty, radiant presence, it appears as everything. So there's a knower or a knowing, but that's actually empty. It doesn't really mean anything. So when someone tries to create a position that they have apparently seen, or there's this radiance that it's just imagined, it's just another fantasy. So in this apparent underground of this exposure, that nothing is ever present, meaning that in this empty, radiant presence, there's no one present. There's no one that is aware. There's no one that is conscious. There's no one at all. And it's just really simple, really, really simple, that everything is already empty, present. Everything is already empty and present. Not a present time, not a tense, or not appearing in time, because this is timelessness. Just the seeing that no matter where your apparent character is, there's always this emptiness that's radiantly present in every apparent moment, although there's no moment. And if you see the transparency of that, so there's this running illusion, this running fantasy of knowing, getting, understanding, all the inging, and there's always this emptiness, this radiant emptiness that's present in everything, and there's nothing that you can or cannot do to avoid that. There's nothing that you can do to abide in that. There's nothing that you can do, because there's no one doing anything at all. And it's just this simplicity that's being expressed here that is often misunderstood. So when it's being expressed that this empty presence, this directness, this nakedness, this intimacy is always it. But the moment that there is an experiencing of that, the moment that it becomes into this story, the moment that this directness is applied in time, the moment this directness becomes the absolute, becomes the pure, or any of those words that signifies that they have found it, or you have found it. So what's being expressed is that that's being missed. But also the missing is also it. So in this in this apparent non-duality, there's this a subjugation or enslavement in duality when it's being practiced or being known. Because in this direct flowing emptiness, when it becomes a when it becomes a glimpse, this is not an instruction, but let that shift go. Kind of like let that shit go, because it's all nothing. It's all nothing. It's all this empty presence that is actually nothing. Because the moment it becomes something, even understanding nothing, then it becomes unpresence. So without words, without labels, without any understanding, without any kind of attainment, this is the empty presence that everyone seems to be longing for. But this empty presence does not arrive for anyone. It does not appear as a knowledge, it does not appear as an instruction. It can appear along with it, but not as a location, not as a destination. And so this is already it. This is already empty brilliance, radiance, intimacy, presence, without any words, without any kind of understanding, without any thoughts about it. It's already arriving and not arriving at the same time. Um, if you have any questions, please go ahead. And welcome, everybody. Kathy, hi.
Yeah, hi. Hi there.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
Not to be the downtrodden of the message, but
Yeah.
it was funny because I've been thinking about this for about, I don't know, probably since the time you did 5 days, whatever. Some fellow at the meeting had said that he saw your old video.
Yeah.
And I had never known. I mean, you had always spoken about you had a meditation group, and even one time you used the word lineage. And
Yeah.
I remember saying, boy, Emerson got punched in the gut with that. Wow. But I remember you saying my parents see me happy and my family sees me happy and whatever. But anyway, so I decided to do the Google search.
Yeah. No worries. No worries.
Anyway, it just like right away, like, you know, I take a position.
Yeah.
I had a reason why it failed.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, how, you know, in 2 major cities he was, you know, and helping all those. I mean, I just did like a 360. It just really,
Yeah.
and then even personally, my own feelings started to change towards you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, what a wonderful man he is. So the whole reality, whatever, you know, something like really, really happened. I just have to say, I mean, I've loved your talks. You know, the fantasy that you did, that back and forth with that woman. Oh, I mean, I have to listen to it again because that was incredible. And the other one, I came up upon that the 5-day intro. That flipped me. That flipped my reality too. It did, because I was like, oh my goodness, he's having another 5 days. What a strong man. And then, you know, I'm talking about somebody because, you know, whether she's here or she's not, whatever. Well, nobody's here anyway. And I said, oh, isn't it nice he made up with Anita because she was on the video. And I was like, well, isn't that nice? I mean, it wasn't until like 3 days later that I realized you weren't having a 5-day thing, and that wasn't an introduction. But anyway, I don't want to waste, you know, just be blah blah blaring.
Yeah.
But and I can't stay this weekend because something came up. But I just, you know, I just had to get that off my chest.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. again, everything that seems to appear, you know what I'm saying, about an identity, holding on to that, people can see that as a saint or a sinner, right? Someone that has done selfless service. Someone can also say that someone fell from that. It's just another idea. Yeah, it's just idea. So this one is always flipping the script, right? Because the script is the script gets you stuck. The script, you
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah,
saying,
oh
of
yeah. Oh, got me
it's
real stuck
yeah, yeah. What a
because
wonderful dude that is, or what
yeah,
a, you know,
I like I said, it was like a shock to me because I had
yeah.
no idea what was involved in
Or what
what you
horrible
did.
that dude is. Everything is a script, right?
No,
Anything
I
good,
just kept
bad.
saying how good he is, and you're like a piece of shit yourself. You're nothing but a
Yeah,
goddamn sinner. Look at
yeah,
what Emerson did.
yeah,
My
yeah,
God, all you did was, right
yeah.
away the comparison went in. I mean, I was just like, oh gosh, what he does. So, it just, whatever. It is,
Yeah,
just what it is here. That's
it
all.
is. It is. It's all shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Including the shifts.
yeah,
What's being expressed here, I guess, in this immediacy that I'm talking about, it that everything is empty. It's all an empty page, and the moment that the writing is the one that is paid attention to, the meaning, the feelings, even, right?
yeah,
You were mentioning the feelings,
yeah. The feelings. Yeah,
and it's like an enslavement of this identity crisis again, right? There's the
yeah,
clearing.
yep,
It appears on an apparent daily basis, right? Because there's this
yeah,
clarity. You're
yeah,
walking around, and happy and
yeah,
everything, and the moment that you step into shit, it all turns to
yeah.
shit. And it's just this never ending, never ending.
Just weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just weird because it changed. Not that you and I have a relationship, but there are no relationships. But something happened. I don't know. I can't explain it.
Yeah.
Can't explain it. But thanks so much, Emerson. Thanks so much. And I'm gonna listen again. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you,
Bye.
Kathy.
Bye. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Oh, thank you so much for the comments. Sure.
Hi, Emerson.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
You hear me?
I can, yeah.
Yeah. Nice to see you again, anyway. Emerson, all there is a concept. The
Everything is.
language we communicate now is English. It's a concept.
Yes.
And what concept can do without concept?
Nothing.
Because all there is a concept.
It is, yeah. So this is
I
just an
mean,
illumination that everything is a concept, that everything that is said, everything that is heard is a concept, but it's all empty presence. It's all emptiness. And even that is a concept.
on which ground you said that this is nothing?
Nowhere, no ground at all, no location. It's just the obviousness that there's nothing here. That when the apparent unhappening is just seeing that everything is just running by itself. Everything is, there's no one choosing to speak, no one choosing here to do anything. So this is really nothing.
So this body
Yes.
is just a self-starter,
There's no
like
body actually. That's just another label. It's just another label in trying to
yes,
yeah. It's a
yes,
position, right?
but still is a still is a concept.
It is, yeah. Everything is. Felt real sense of feelings, reality, fantasy, imagination, understanding, ideas are all concepts. Yeah.
Yes, I mean concept is also what it is.
It is what it is. As I said, everything is this emptiness, and then there's a
Yeah.
labeling that happens, and then the labeling is conceptual. What is being expressed here does not have any labels, but seemingly, what appears in this apparent appearance is concepts, labels, stories, but it's all illusion. It's just an
Yes, but
appearance.
is there, I made is illusion there, but I don't know. I don't think so that there is out is illusion. The
There's no
tree
out.
is a tree. The sky is the sky. It's we name it,
Yeah.
but even if we name it or we don't name it, that we cannot change it. That is what it is.
Yes.
Out. I
There's no.
mean,
But
there is.
we're trying to locate
I'm,
something that doesn't even exist, right? So you're trying to separate things. That tree, that outside, that here and there. That's just another concept again, right? It's
yeah,
just another
that
labeling.
that
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, they're outside. Is are not illusion.
Everything is an illusion, including outside. Everything that is seen, everything that is observed is an illusion. Because the one that's observing it, the observer, is an illusion itself.
So then, what is not illusion? Not from this side, from that side, which is nothing is there.
Well,
Then what is not illusion?
everything is
What
an
is not
illusion,
illusion?
including this. This is also an illusion, including there. Because this and there is an illusion. So this is wholeness. And then in illusory perception, there's a Sheeran, there's an Emerson, there's a talking happening, but this is actually not happening because there's no time. Time is an illusion. So everything that you can think about is an illusion because thinking itself is an illusion. So the
Isn't it
illusory
that
thinking will only produce illusory ideas.
always an idea? Yes,
Yeah.
because you cannot stand aside and see itself. That
Yes,
it's just understanding. So
that's
it
right.
is an illusion. So whatever I see and the fact is an illusion. That is which as I say. But I mean, on that side, you as nothing. What is there not illusion? What is there not illusion? Was this I see is
Uh-huh.
illusion. But what's I don't
So
know.
let's just say this.
This seeing. I
Yes,
talk now about just
seeing. Okay.
about seeing, not about me or something, about seeing, hearing, touching,
Mm.
walking, talking. This
So
all is,
there's this emptiness that's present in everything that appears in talking and seeing and feeling and everything. This emptiness appears as an illusion, appears as colors, appears as understanding, appears as feelings. But all of that, if you take all of the labels of all of these words that you're saying to me, it's all just emptiness. Emptiness appears as feelings, appears as whatever, right? But it's all empty. But the moment
and
that the moment that it's perceived, the moment that is there is this perception of what's apparently going on, then it's seen that it's separate. But this is actually wholeness appearing as separate.
as that you say, it is still as an intellect and the function. I ask the nothing, that nothing which you do talk about it.
Yes.
In that case, yes, as you say, in that case, everything is nothing,
Mm.
appearing as everything.
Yes. Yeah.
That is in that case, which you, in that, from that side, which you say, which I just can say, yes, if it's everything is nothing and appearing as everything, there is really nothing there will
Uh,
be no place to talk about something.
yes. Again, you know what? If we go to the directness of this, there's no time in this directness. There is no time. It's just a concept. So the time conceptually is a linear, kind of like moving from here to here. But when it's seen in the directness that there's no such thing, all the concepts evaporate. All the ideas about what evaporates. It's just this apparent happening. But since there's no time, how can this be happening? How can this be possible? So this is the impossibility, us interacting right now, appearing as possible. So anything that's
I,
possible is an illusion. Yeah.
yes, I understand the message, not now for a long time ago, but I'm still, around that by this thought,
Yeah,
and
what's
I
wrong with
know
that? What's wrong with that when it's not always that.
uh,
You're just creating a story right now that it's always this thought, right? But it's always not present.
yeah.
What's always present is emptiness.
But at
So
the
the thoughts
same
come in
time,
a while. It comes in a
sometimes,
while. Sorry, go ahead.
at the same time, I do feel that all there is a single. This is not from point A to point B. It's from point A to point
Yeah, there's no
A.
point A and point B. That's just another
No,
idea. Yeah.
the idea.
Yeah.
I mean,
It
it's a
feels
single.
absolutely real, that there's a subject object, there's a talking happening right now because it's a perfect illusion. It will be a really clumsy illusion if it's clumsy. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
this
it's
illusion is maintains itself over and over again is to maintain that everything is reality. So everything that is apparently real is an illusion. That's how um, perfect the illusion is.
what was that if somebody if I didn't know there is a if there is a no concept that is a star or that's a tree or that's the, what was I what was I then? Then I what I was then?
There's no one here at all, right? So there's even the I is a concept of what was I is a
Yeah,
concept
I
because it
know that
appears in time. Yeah.
because it's whatever I see, I think, I go, I everything I see is just concept, nothing else.
Yeah. Nothing else. Yeah. But it's not about understanding that it's a concept. It's not even figuring out that it's a concept. It's just seeing that there is no one seeing all of this. So everything that the one or the I that thinks it's a concept is a concept of self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's which yeah. I, I know very well the message. I have nothing. I cannot say or discard them, this message. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I did discard everything in my life, everything as a concept. But still, I see a concept. Whatever, that's the
Yeah, when it's seen that the I is
that's
the concept, when everything is just then the concept just evaporates, right? It's just like this.
yeah,
This is all
evaporate.
empty. Yeah, you can't even say it empty because it appears as full, right? But this is all emptiness, meaning that there's no separation whatsoever. There's never been any separation because there's no time for separation to happen. So this impossibility of this appearance of concepts being understood or being conceptualized is not possible because this is timelessness, and timelessness is not it doesn't appear in the present, past, or the future. It appears in everything. It doesn't appear in a location. Yeah.
Its location is also its
Like a
appearance.
destination. Yeah. The moment that you say that it's a concept, then that becomes a destination. The moment that it's seen that it's understood, then that's a location. It's kind of like there's a position. So this is without any positions whatsoever.
That which you talk about,
Yeah.
yes. But here is here is still as a possession, me and that.
Yeah, because but that's just another illusion, right? You're
Yeah,
just coming up with a story right now. So the story is coming up with a story to maintain a story that there's this and that, and that's just a story.
yeah, yeah. It's story, but
Yeah.
that's
So the story will maintain the story that it's reality, by keeping on, by coming up with stories about maintenance about this reality. For example, well, I know what you're saying, but how come there is a tree over there and there's me over here? That's a story about separation. There's no tree and there's no share. Those are just labels of wholeness, appearing as a tree, appearing as share. If you take the labels off, then there's just this
Yes,
unknowable
expression
mystery.
of life, whatever it is,
Yeah.
that I anyway, I love this message, so I cannot say no.
All right.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Cher. Thank you. Anne. Hi, Anne.
Hi, Emerson.
Hello.
Hello. I'm not even sure what I want to say now. The thing about comparisons,
Mm,
this between this and that, and
yes.
categorization, putting things into groups
Mm,
so that you're sure of what they are, and you can kind of like sort of see something, hear something, and then know what it is without actually knowing
mm,
what it is because you've come up against it before. Um, Knowing what's good and what's bad. So that's like the concepts of what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing, and
yeah.
and in relation to other people, because other people, you kind of know what other people are like to a degree, because you've already got this idea, you've put it into like a little box. Well, this person is going to be like this, and that person
Yeah.
going to be like that. So it's about, you know, uh, I think here a lot of fear and anxieties caused because it's already known. Um, so um, already know what other people are like, already know what a situation's gonna turn out to be without actually even experiencing it, not
Mm,
even coming up against it.
yeah.
Um,
So what seems to be happening is a story is generating another story of what a story should be when all stories are illusion. Does that make any sense? It's comparison is a story because there's no one to compare. There's
mm,
no one. There's no others. But that lodged idea that there is someone out there, that there's someone other, is kind of like it it traps these ideas of separation because there's this
mm,
persistent reality um, that is an illusion that there's someone out there, that there
mm,
are others, and
mm,
in this apparent dream that is happening, it believes that there are other dreamers. So in turn,
mm,
it believes in its dreams. It believes in its dreams as real. It believes in its dreams as a real happening. And it believes in the dreamer that's dreaming all of this. But there's no dreamers, there's no other dreamers. It's just this empty dream of no one. So in this empty dream of no one, everything appears like anxiety, belief systems, ideas, apparent reality. I get what you're saying, but it's maintenance of that dream, making it real.
mm. But
When
it's
it's
just,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
so it just seems how it's set up. So sometimes that's how it is
Mm-hmm.
there isn't anybody. And but when back into, you know, yeah, there are people here, makes it even stronger.
Yeah, of course, yeah, because the persistent illusion is going to maintain its reality, that there are others here.
Mm,
It's not about believing or disbelieving that, is seeing through that. It's seeing through that whatever seems to be happening, whatever seems
mm,
to be this felt sense of reality, is also an illusion. It's not about understanding or believing that, but seeing through that, that whatever seems to be what you're thinking about always diminishes or disappears. And it comes back again, either stronger or weaker. So what seems to be constantly changing, constantly disappearing and appearing, is not true. But the persistence that it's true maintains it. So when that resistance, you know what I'm saying, or that belief system, that holding on to that loosens up, um, when it gets challenged, right? Kind of like what I mentioned in the beginning, when there's this seeing that everything is empty, radiantly present in everything, including anxiety, including others, including whatever, but it's all this whole. It doesn't have any separation. So everything that is felt, seen, understood is just this felt sense of reality that absolutely feels absolutely real, is also empty, meaning it's not true or it's not true, because those are just ideas of what seems to be happening. So there's a position that, that there are others.
But it just seems like there's nothing to do now. When that occurred before, there was something to do, but now it's
Yes.
just like,
Yeah.
should I go back? And it's like, no, no, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah.
It can't, the apparent character will never get out of the character. It's always going to be charactering, right? It's always going to maintain the character. But when it's seen that it's a fictional character, there's a difference, right? There's this I am, here, and there are others, right? So when it's seen it's a fictional character, there seems to be a relaxing kind of like, okay, that's just what's happening. And there's nothing that I can do or not do about it, because it's just going to keep on going. There's almost like um, um, a quitting, like a release, you know what I'm saying, of maintaining something that is not real. It's like, for example, when someone finally admits that they've been bullshitting, then there's this kind of like, right? There's this release.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of this maintenance of anxiety and everything is maintaining that there's something that's going to happen in the future. There's someone out
Yeah.
there that's going to affect this. Right? So all of
Yeah.
this maintenance is like a subjugation. It's like an enslavement. It doesn't feel free because it always maintains something. It's always maintaining something. It's always maintaining a lie. So it can never feel free. But when it's seen that everything is a lie, everything is an illusion, everything is just fantasy, then there's a seemingly kind of like white flag racing. Okay, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing I can do or not do, you know what I'm saying? So just might as well enjoy everything burned down.
Was there ever a sense that people expected Emerson to turn up as Emerson was?
Oh, repeat that again. Was there an expectation of people?
So the people that, your relations, your friends, did they expect you to turn up being how you were? So how, when you were a spiritual teacher and whatever there was around there, you
Well, what was seen, and
were
this might,
DJ.
yeah, what's seen is what this might be shocking to some, or people that have been listening to this is obvious, that there really is no one here. So I don't have
Yeah.
any relationships. I don't have anyone. There's no one here that has anyone, because everything that I have a relationship with is an illusion, meaning it's not really real.
Is there a sense that people kind of like go, come on, get back to how you were? We really,
It's really funny actually when the apparent Emerson, the Emerson, the spiritual teacher, all of that kind of stuff, the identity that was held on to, when it fell apart, when it was seen it was just nothing, uh, it's just like a cloud or something that passes or something that's not really real, then the character actually seemingly is more authentic, more real. It's more full of life, right? And it's not seeking over and over again. It's not looking for itself anymore. Before it was kind of like there was a joke that I would say that, oh yeah, this is my soul searching number 1865 or something, trying to find myself,
Yeah.
trying to, and that's really funny because what seems to be longed for is not even there. So when there is no one here, and there's never been anyone here, that soul seeking, seeking for itself ends, and the character is just free. It's not a slave to seeking anymore. It's not a slave to, fantasy about finding itself anymore. It was never lost. So the character is more goofy, more, um, but more radically honest, right? Because before, because it was entertaining and maintaining a fantasy, an image of someone, supposed to be spiritual, or someone supposed to be superior. So it's the end of specialness. So it's a, and this is just another story. It's more humble that way. Yeah. It's just as it is. No maintenance.
Yeah.
Maintenance of special is very, very, it's very high
Yeah.
maintenance if there's a specialness that is being maintained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess it's isolating as well.
Specialness, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, Emerson.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you.
In the apparent story, and this is just a story, it's been about 4 years since I've had any fights with any of my family or any members or friends or something, because there's no one here that's fueled anymore to get into kind of like any arguments or anything like that. It's like, okay, it's more relaxed. There's really nothing has changed, but everything seems to have changed. It's more relaxed. It's almost like a retired character. It doesn't have a point anymore.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. Hey, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Emerson.
Hello.
I think there's a word, destroy,
Yes.
but if you look at that word and what it feels like can happen in an instant,
Mm.
we're taking the stories, we're really destorying.
Mm.
We're not destroying the stories
No.
because they keep building on each other like a structure that has stories.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, when there's some clarity, it's like it's been destoried.
Oh, I like that. It's like decentralized.
Decentralized,
Yeah.
deconceptualized, if there's
Yes.
such a word,
Yes. I like that
Just
actually.
just in an instant, but it's always that way.
It's deconstructed, because whatever is constructed is an illusion. So everything is like a deconstructed right away. Like, okay, oh wow, because the constructing of the story just keeps on constructing stories after stories to maintain this narrative that everything is real. So deconstruction of that is seeing like, okay, that's kind of like it's just storying. It's this reality that's being maintained as a story, a story that's being maintained as reality, and it's just an inging of all of this. It's just this apparent movement, keeps on happening. It's kind of like a building, keeps on building itself up. But when it's seen that it's always deconstructed, there's no construction whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah, there's just this clarity, like, wow.
But
it's
as
gonna
soon
like,
as you see that, if you cling
yeah,
to it,
and then
you're back in the story.
it's back
You're
in the
back in
story
the
again. Yeah, it constructs
yeah.
again. So that's what it's seeing, that, you know, it's always constructing. So the danger of this seeing, right, is that when a constructed story, when it's seen that this is happening, when it becomes a position, when it becomes kind of like, oh, I am the ultimate now. Oh, wow, I figured out everything. Oh, wow, I am the absolute now. I
Right.
am all knowing now, or I am the I am. You know, all that kind of stuff. When it becomes this absolute, this landing, and the ego has landed when there was no
Gone.
ego there, right? It's brilliant in a way. So about 15, 12, 15 years ago, when I was a teacher, it landed, and I thought I got it. So when you get it,
So
was that you too, right?
you too, about 12 years ago.
So when there's a getting, there's a maintenance of that getting, right? And there's this kind of like holding on into some position, and and everyone is wrong, but I am right, kind of thing, right? That's what's being expressed here. That there's nothing wrong or right. There's just this kind of like a wink, you know what I'm saying? That but everything is a story. None of us will get this. There's just this because there's no one here at all. So any position, any kind of arrival, any kind of destination, anything that I got it is kind of like, oh wow, that's just another construction. That's just another story that's being constructed. You're like, oh fuck, there it goes again.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. You know what I'm saying? It's brilliant in its maintenance of its own relevance. So the relevance is what's being maintained. That it's a relevant reality, that it's really happening to me. The me keeps its relevance by inventing itself over and over again. It appears as a belief, it appears as a position, it appears as the ultimate, it appears as anxiety, it appears as I know I'll never get this. It will appear as all of these statements. But any statement about this is really null and void because it can't be made into a statement. It's impossible.
Thanks.
Thank you. Hey, Rojan.
Hello.
Hello. Hiya.
Hi. Yeah, like, I don't know. I see that, like, I don't know. When you said it's like a prison and it just keeps building, like the concept. I was laying, trying to sleep the other night, and like, it seemed like there was a lot of fear. Like, it was really scared, and like, it's just that fear was just building and building. But like, there was like clarity because it was like I wasn't really involved. Like, I wasn't really involved. Like that, I was just letting it do its thing, and like, it was getting more scary and more scary and scary.
Oh yeah. It's keeping up the ante, right? It's kind of like, oh, it's trying to land into a position, but it never really lands because it's an illusion. So it can't. It's always flowing. It's always, the illusion will always flow. The stillness or the emptiness is always present in all of that. It's not separate from that. It's just this radiant emptiness that appears in the fear, the upping up the ante of this fear, kind of like coming into conclusions or whatever. And it becomes hilarious sometimes, right? When it's kind of like, oh, wow. It's like, oh, this is just, it's not separate anymore. It's just seen as happening. It's just this constant trying to, keep its relevance alive.
Oh my.
But it's dead. Yeah.
It's so funny. Like, it was just saying like the craziest shit, and I'm just laying there like I'm just laying down like, what the fuck? And then it's like coming in harder, and it's like trying to like get something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just so freeing, just to like, I don't know, because there's nothing. So it's like, it's just pointless. Like, it just keeps, I don't know.
It's the maintenance of the impossibility that this is reality, right? And it keeps on maintaining that, and it's brilliant. You know what I'm saying? It's very exquisite, and it's just kind of like it's like wow, and there's even ideas that will say that, well, if I don't have any more ideas and I don't have any more thoughts, this will be fine. But that's just another idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was so weird. Like, usually that would that would be the form that it takes. But this time it was like more like scared of the actual moment, like scared of actually just laying down in bed, like trying to
Yeah.
sleep. Like
Yeah.
there was a fear around sleeping. It
Yeah.
was so, I was just so happy. Like, I don't know.
There's peace when there's war happening. You know what I'm saying? There's this peacefulness even if there's war of what's real and what's not real. It's again, it's like being in a sandlot and everyone's playing, and you know there's this argument happening, apparently kind of like, this is it, no, this is not it, this is it. It's trying to keep, so this is it and this is not it are both positions, right?
Yeah.
And it's just this cosmic joke that just unfolding and unfolding, and it's just seen as, when it's seen as it is, that there's always going to be this, you know, it never really lands. But when there's this thinking that you have accomplished something or you have attained something, then it's kind of like, aha.
Yeah, like,
It boomerangs back, you know, saying, and it just keeps
yeah.
on. And then all of a sudden you have a belief system, or you know, there's this belief that, well, you know what, it could be that, you know, well, there's no one here, but there are others.
Yeah.
let me let me convert others to be no one here. Oh no, that's just another. Or I'm the only one that can
Yeah.
teach this,
Yeah.
or that I'm a complete failure, or you know what, I'm fooling myself.
Oh yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah. Or
Like,
this.
yeah, it took on the form of like being a fraud. Like, I'm
Yes.
a
Oh
fraud.
yeah. Well, everything is a fraud.
Yeah. Thank you, Emerson.
Thank you, Rojan. Corey. Hi, Corey. Hi, Corey. Oh, I can't hear you though, Corey. You have to unmute yourself. Has to unmute. Okay. There we go. Oh, I can't hear you still. No. I'm not sure what's happening. Go to the microphone function there. There's a little arrow. And then if you go up on that arrow, maybe you're not using a microphone or something. I'm not sure. Oh, I heard a movement. No. No sound whatsoever. No sound, yeah, no. I'm not sure. I'm going to ask you to unmute again. I'm going to mute you, and I'm going to ask you to unmute. See what happens. You have to unmute yourself.
Is she connected to
There
a
we go.
speaker?
Oh, I thought that was
No.
Corey. You still have to unmute, and I don't think you're connected to a speaker. That could be what's happening.
She may need to go in her sound settings because she may not be pointing to the microphone.
Yeah, you might need to go to your sound settings, Corey, because we don't hear anything that you're saying. So if you go to your sound settings, you're going to select a microphone, or you can go to your audio settings, and then it will bring up your audio. You can test your speaker. You can test your mic as well. Or you can type your question right now, and I can answer it. Because I can't hear you. Yeah. You can type your question, Corey, and I can try to. We'll try to fix it in a breakout room later. I'll be there. Yeah. Oh, I can hear. Corey, is that you? There must be some loose wire or something, Corey. That's probably what's happening because I hear a little bit of static. There's a question here. Hi, Emerson. When I come to your meetings, I usually have a whole bunch of questions prepared, but somehow, after 30 minutes, it seems to be all answered. And the questions will come back again. But is there a question blocker, like a hypnotism going on here? No. there, this communication is really simple because it's just a clarification that there's nothing needed, that there's nothing that needs to be understood. Usually a question usually comes trying to understand something. So when there's this apparent introduction that nothing is needed or something that it's all emptiness appearing as whatever, there seems to be a dropping of questions. Not sure. But if the question comes up again, please go ahead. Or you can even email me it if you like. It seems that you've answered all the questions already and there's nothing left to ask. It's just a lot of clarity right now. Thank you. Thank you for that. Share.
Yeah. You know, the seeing, not seeing by me, seeing by seeing, but it occurred too. It's still two. Seeing, but
for a lack of a better word, seeing is usually used as, as a word trying to describe this. That's why I was trying to, I changed apparently these wordings. So I'm calling it empty presence. Let's just drop seeing right now because you're getting stuck on that one. It becomes a story, right? Because seeing, there is a subject object that's being expressed, right? Yeah. Because that's what I mean. When there's words, there's always a definition of what's happening. So for a lack of a better word, I usually use seeing, or some speakers use there's this seeing, but really there's no seeing because there's no seer and there's no seen. It's just wholeness. There's no subject and object. So there's no time. So seeing is also not possible. It's an illusion. And there are no eyes. It's an illusion. There's no body. So this wholeness is appearing as a seeing, as an illusion of seeing. This directness, this apparent, instance, but there's no instance. So again, getting stuck in words, right? Because it becomes kind of like what Steve and I were talking about. There's a maintenance of the story, and the maintenance of the story is being maintained right now by saying that, what about this seeing? There's no seeing. That's just another story. Because there's no one here that's seen and there's no one seeing there. So the seeing, if you want to clarify that a little bit, is just another, an apparent story appearing in time, that there is a seer and a seen. But the seeing, the seer, and the seen are all illusion. It's just this wholeness that doesn't have a word to it.
No, I don't talk about my seeing.
Yeah.
That I see.
Yeah.
I think about just seeing itself.
Yes.
But still it's two,
Even if it's my or not my story, it's still a story. Because it's appearing in this storyline. Everything that's being expressed here is a story.
But often you talk about seeing.
As I said, for a lack of a better word, right? I usually say seeing, but without a seer.
Yes.
Yes.
But still it's two. I don't talk about my seeing that I see.
Yeah.
I think
I think you're trying to understand what's being expressed as seeing. Again, everything that is being expressed here is a story, right? So seeing because there's no, let's just say, what's another word for that then? The apparent seeing is an apparent seeing, you know what I'm saying? Apparent, this apparent illusion that there's a you and I here, there's a seeing that nothing is happening. But there's no one here because what's seeing is an illusion, so there's really no seeing happening. In this illusory seeing that there's two, when it's seen that there's no one here that's seeing it, it's just this wholeness, but there's no other word, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to use word experiencing because there's no experiencer. So when I usually say seeing, I usually say that there's no seer. There's no one that is seeing it.
Really,
We're getting caught up in words.
yeah, I do understand this, that there is just seeing itself, but
Yes.
not seen by me. But still that seeing, self-seeing, it have to see an object, something.
Yeah,
Otherwise, there
again,
will be no seeing.
yeah, again, words, you know what I'm saying, are just really dualistic in nature. It's always kind of like, in a dualistic. And that's why when I say seeing, there's no seer here. It's impossible. You're trying to understand a seeing without a subject and object, but subject and object is just a story.
You
Yeah.
mean that both are nothing?
Yes, everything is nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see, it's still a concept, and I understand what
Everything
you
is a concept. Yeah.
said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, sure. But I get what you're trying to say. It's again, this communication, these words are will never point to what is, because what's being pointed as is doesn't appear as a word.
Yeah, that's why I am here. I still I am I. So when I am not I will call you.
Yeah, no worries. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. What is it? This is from Casey Emerson. What is it like over there when you go to bed? When nighttime dreams happen, are they lucid too? It's just really seeing that, again, see the words. The apparent happening is just this, there's just this, everything is just this continual flow of nothing. So whatever appears is seen as real, that's unreal at the same time, meaning it feels real. Like a dream at night, there's this apparent reality to it, but when awakening happens, for no one, of course, it's seen that nothing happened at all. So it's just seen that this is an unhappening happening. This is not happening to anyone whatsoever. Again, the illusion, the running illusion that's the maintenance that this is reality, will maintain that there is someone that's sleeping and waking up. But when it's seen that that's an illusion, no one's here to sleep, to dream, to wake up. Everything is just this immediacy that's happening. So there's no Emerson that goes to sleep at night, and there's no Emerson that wakes up. In the story, again, there's this story, right? There's an apparent Emerson that sleeps and then wakes up, but really that's just a story. None of that is happening. There's also no one there that is awake, and there's no one there that's asleep, because awake and asleep are just concepts and ideas. But so what? Thank you for that question. If you want to add to that, Casey, go ahead. Oh, sorry, I forgot to open up the chat to everyone. Yes, it's invisible.
Sounds like Corey's microphone is working now.
Oh, Corey, go ahead. I don't think so.
No, I
No.
heard some noises. I thought it was
You
her.
had some noise. Okay. We'll try to fix it in a breakout room later. Or if you like, you know, yeah, maybe later we'll try to fix it. Or you can write the question, Corey. There's a chat, you know, function there if you want to write the question. Question from Leave. So why do we have the possibility to abstract thinking? There's really no thinking at all. There's the illusion of thinking happening. So it's either clarity or, you know, abstract thinking. There's no doer. It's just what's happening. We tend to put labels on what seems to be happening as a story, as something that happens, as something that is real. There's no such thing as abstract. There's no such thing as whatever. It's just all of this appearance is just a seeming, you know, again, the story being constructed as reality. It's maintaining its reality, either through abstract or to whatever means. If you want to add to that, Leave, if you want to expand on that. Again, it's the impossibility appearing as a possibility. So everything that is appearing is allowed because there's no one stopping it or not stopping it. Oh, I heard something. I think that's Corey. Try to say something, Corey. Oh, there you go.
It's the jack
Oh,
on my little mini speaker. It's not going in the hole properly.
okay.
But if I take my thumb off, it will disappear again, I think.
Go ahead. Ask questions.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I
Can
can.
you?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, hooray.
Hooray.
I forgot what I was going to ask now.
Oh, no.
I think it was, Anne, it relates to, I think, what she was talking about earlier on. And like everything the apparent person sees as seems separate.
Yeah.
So what I was wondering was, is what the apparent person's seeing maybe like due to their past, their upbringing, and what they believe, and so when the apparent person drops away, there is no past, so then they're able to see it as it is rather than from the past. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. What there's no more contraction, right? So contraction can appear as you know, something that is held onto from a past event, from you know, conditioning or something like that.
Yes.
So when
yes.
it's seen that there's really no one that can hold the past or any conditioning or any of that, everything is just
Yes.
appearing as it is. So for example, when there is apparent experiences from the past, when it's seen that none of that really happened, it doesn't really have any kind of like any reference anymore, right? So the references, every single reference, you know, is to maintain that it's real. So when all the references are seen as empty, meaning that they're not real or unreal at the same time, it's just an occurrence. So there's this, in this apparent appearance of this empty presence, this emptiness, the past will appear, the future will appear. Anything is allowed, right? Everything and anything is allowed. But when there is a persistent, you know what I'm saying, identification that I am real, my past is real, the future is real. So it creates this maintenance of reality.
Yeah.
So when
Yes.
that is shook off, or when that drops away, although no one drops away, but the belief that I am here, that I am going through time and space, that there's a linear time, when there's this lodged knowledge of who I am, then
Yeah.
everything that seemingly have happened in the past is a continuation of this present moment.
Yes.
So, but
Yes.
there's no past that you know that ever happened. It's just this. All that there is this, and there's nothing outside of this. And this apparent this, you know, there's going to be some illusions about a reality, about a past or a future. And if that's believed, if that is held onto, then this apparent emptiness is maintained as a real happening.
Even though it's unconscious beliefs.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Of
Unconscious or
course.
conscious,
Yeah.
it's the same.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just an appearance, right?
Yes.
We're putting labels on something that is just automatically. So to clarify that a little bit more, this is autonomous. This is automatic. Everything that you're thinking about doesn't have any basis from the past or the present or the future. It's just appearing. So this mouth's moving. And there's this seeming appearance of, you know, processing of this speaking, but this is just actually appearing automatically, immediately. There's no basis on any past or any future or anything, because what's appearing here is an illusion. So even if the appearance of a past appears, it's another illusion. Even if appearance of kind of like I'm anxious about the future is just another illusion. So the illusion maintains itself as real by maintaining a past and maintaining a future and maintaining a now. So when it's seen that this unicity, in this everythingness, all that appearing, everything that's appearing as a past, future, or present is just an illusion, then it's kind of like, oh, wow, that's brilliant. It's a maintenance of something that is not real, but maintaining a timeline, by maintaining something that have happened in the past or the future, or it's going to happen in the future. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense, but
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, my question was really quite simple. You gave quite a long
Sorry about
reply.
that.
But basically, so what I said originally was that what we see as separate is purely because of the past that never was.
That's right.
In a nutshell,
In a
very
nutshell,
simple.
yeah. It's very
Yeah.
simple. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You kind of went in a roundabout way.
That's what I mean. There's no chooser. You know what I'm saying? It just goes automatically. I was
Right.
just,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
this expression that everything is happening automatically. That's yes. In a roundabout way, yes.
Yes, in a roundabout way.
Yes.
Yes. Not in a roundabout way, in a straightforward way.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
So if that will continue until the apparent me isn't there anymore.
Well, there's no me to not to be there anymore, because there was no me in the first place.
No, I
Yeah.
know. I do know.
Yeah.
But there appears to be a me in
And
the story.
that's what's being expressed, that the story, when the story is relevantly true, then that's maintained. But when it's seen that there's no relevance in the story, meaning it's then that doesn't, you know, have any gravity anymore. It just floats and disappears, appears and disappears, apparently.
Well, that sounds good to my ears. That's pretty good. So that's it. I think that's, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Catherine, hi. Oh, you have to unmute yourself. Oh, there you.
Yeah. I was looking for it at the top, but then you unmuted me or something. Oh my gosh. It just... This is a headache today.
Yeah.
It's like... It's... you know, when you want to say something and then when you're on the spot...
Just like what
It's
the other
like
person was saying,
the
she had a
words
list
have
of
gone.
questions. Yeah.
No, it's just a comment that it just all feels like Chinese or Arabic, you know. It's just...
Hooray! Yes.
It just words,
Yeah.
meaningless words
Yes.
about nothing, and but I there's that the fondness, isn't there? There's a fondness to remaining, the belief that I'm alive. There's the fondness
Yeah.
of the character there that
Yeah.
it is obviously so strong, but at the same time there's no right or wrong, is there? It's just as
No,
it
yeah.
is,
It's just as
you
it is.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like I feel like saying just shut up.
We can also do that. Yeah, these words are just again, you know, they're completely meaningless, right? There's just this, but the apparent, you know, identification maintains itself by having a position of kind of like, this just sounds like this just sounds like that. So it's making it something that it's not, because it's nothing at all.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was saying about that fondness of the character, because it's always a position, and comparing to another, there's always a position. I don't see it the way you do, so there's always a duality there, and there's such a fondness that other characters have to be there to make it more real.
Yeah.
But yes, it also feels like.
But that fondness is a story as well, isn't it?
Sorry?
But that fondness is a story as well, isn't it?
Shit.
Not because I heard Corey say shit.
You weren't meant to.
I haven't got anything else, thank you. Yeah, it just feels like, you know, when you're full and yet somebody keeps putting something on your plate, and it's like, oh no, I can't take any more of this. It's defense mechanism, isn't it, for supposed survival, I guess.
It does. It's like an interrogation, right? You know what I'm saying? When it can't take it anymore, right? It's like, there's no one there, and you're like, I know, but
yeah. Or like
I understand what you're saying. It's like a torture now, right? It's like
torture with the big bright light, and
yes, it's kind of like, there's no one there, and you're like, I get it, there's no one here, and I keep on saying, but there is a belief there still, that there's this fondness, as she said, there's a fondness of this, and it can't take it anymore, but it maintains itself.
But it's very strange, because then there's the belief. So there's the belief in this reality, and then there's a belief of choice that I'm choosing this torture.
No, you're not, actually. Again, there's this fondness of that, right? I like that word, actually. There's this persistence, right? There's persistence that I am here, that I am, you know, getting tortured here. I know that there's no one here, but why do you, it's all of this narrative about it, what seems to be happening, when all of this really is just barking and chirping.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And
I like
a
that.
story gets created about, what should be and what
Mm.
shouldn't be. That's just another barking, that's just another chirping. This is all silence, really, and um, the silence is appearing as words that could be held onto or not believed or believed, but it doesn't really matter because there's no one holding on to this. There's an illusion of getting it or not getting it, or confusion, or can like, oh, shut up, that kind of thing. But
Yeah,
that's
sensations really.
sensation, but that is
Mm.
the illusion. That's also emptiness
Mm.
appearing as resistance or acceptance. Resistance and acceptance are the same, really.
Mm.
Some
Yeah,
people
it's
will
all
be
the
like,
same,
it's
isn't
all the
it?
same. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It is quite challenging though, because it's
Mm.
like there's this kind of like, I know what you're saying, but I don't get it, but I get it at the same time. But there's no you to get it or not get it, is what's being expressed here. And the apparent illusion of this persistent reality, that it's maintaining that it's real, keeps on trying to grasp it.
Yeah, that's why there's the headache.
Yeah. When there's nothing to grasp, it's all a story. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, can't do anything about it.
Mm.
Thank you, Emerson.
Oh, thank you, Catherine. Thank you. Thank you, Emerson, for this hammering. I keep on coming up with nothing, and I can't seem to ask any more questions. Thank you. Thank Corey. Hi, Emerson. Can you repeat what you said about the seeker finding itself? I blanked out there for a moment and had clarity, but now I'm trying to understand it. Yeah, so what's being suggested is that the apparent seeker seeking to find itself will never find itself because there's no self. Finding yourself is a fantasy. As I mentioned, when there's this character that would go into soul seeking or self seeking, number whatever, 1000 or whatever, it always comes out empty. The me will never find a no me. The character will never see the absence of the character. The self will never get rid of the self. It's just really simple. Simple and really direct, right? That since there's no self, you can't lose the self, you can't find the self, and there's no self whatsoever. There's no higher self, there's no lower self. It's just directly there's no self because self is just another idea. It's just another concept. So in the story of this seeking, I kept on looking for myself only to lose. So Lee goes, so everything is arising out of nothing and for no reason. Um, this is nothing. This is emptiness already. But the idea of what nothing is what seems to be the stuckness, right? Nothing is not nothing of what you think nothing is, because nothing can't be thought of. So in this seeming happening, there's this arising, which is not really arising because there's no time. There's this illusion of something happening, but nothing's really happening because a happening cannot happen if there's no time. So in the illusion, there's all of this arising feelings, sensations, ideas, stories, laughter, crying, but it's really nothing. You can also say that laughter is nothing, and everything arising is nothing, and there's no reason for it, because the moment that you think for a reason for it, it's a position, it's an identification, it's a false sense of knowing. No reason whatsoever. It's the unfolding of what cannot be thought of. It's the unfolding of something that doesn't happen. It's just this, as it is. Or even scrap all of that. Everything that is appearing is just as it is. Hooray! If you want to add to that, leave, you can go ahead. Oh no, it was someone said happy birthday. It was not my birthday. It was someone else's birthday on Friday. That was not my birthday, but thank you. It was Kane's. I'm not sure if Kane's here. Hi, Emerson. What do you think of a certain speaker that basically tells everyone that radical non-duality is all a fraud, and the certain speaker is telling the only absolute truth that there is on YouTube right now? I don't really want to. I think there's this there's yeah, it's just a story. Everything is a story. But no one has absolute truth. No one has reached any kind of conclusion. Um, it's just another story. Yeah. So what? All I can tell is that when there was 15 years ago, when this apparent character made the apparent glimpse into a story of attainment or an entitlement, a position, um, it didn't end well. So there's no maintenance of this apparent seeing that there's never been anyone here. There's just this unconditional freedom. And there are no other speakers. Oh, sorry, Sheer. Go ahead,
Yes.
Sheer. Hi.
You know, you know, Emerson, about this physiology,
Oh, about the what? Sorry, Sheer.
about this body.
The body. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not my body.
Yeah.
But there is a body. It's appear as you said.
Yeah.
From nothing, it's appear this body. But the body is the fact. You cannot or not. Just I was asked. There is a physiology. There is
Well,
a
in a let's use the apparent dream analogy. For example, when you're dreaming at night, um, like in the nighttime dream, there is this felt sense of realness that you have a body, that you're moving through time and space. But the moment that there's this sliver, you know what I'm saying, of awakeness, all of that is unreal. What's not seen is, for example, there's no one that goes to sleep at night and there's no one that wakes up in the morning.
that I heard before also.
Yeah. So
But
there's
I-
this. So what's being expressed right now is this is kind of like a dream, that everything that you perceive as real, including the body, is absolutely real. But everything that isn't absolutely real is also an illusion, because there's no absolutes.
Now which evidence you have, which you said that there is no one.
There's no one. No, there's no evidence here whatsoever. Again, evidence is coming into a conclusion, right? The only obviousness here is that from this apparent seeing here, apparent character here, there's no one here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's the only. There's no evidence, right? Again, looking for a position, or an understanding of this maintains the story that there's someone there, and then there's an evidence or something. Again, this is what's being suggested here, is that what is seemingly happening is that there's no one here and there's no one there, but there's a belief that there's someone there or someone here. All of
Not,
that is a belief. So when it's
I,
seen that there is again, let's go back into that sliver of kind of like when someone wakes up, there's no one there, and then the idea of someone comes back in the morning, kind of like, oh, I have to do some shopping, I have to go out to listen to Emerson or not listen to Emerson or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, I know what you said.
Yeah.
Just like I talk about the body, not my body, but there is a body. There is it's all
Well,
there is.
let's call it a felt sense of realness, right? There's this, in this illusion, everything is going to feel real. Like, for example, I'm holding this invisible cup. To be able to hold that, there's a felt sense of realness. If I pinch myself, then I would feel this apparent pinch. So there's this felt sense of realness. Like in a dream at night, there's also a felt sense of realness. There's a felt sense of real. For example, sometimes I wake up, when out of breath, thinking that I've been running. But all of that is an illusion as well, because nothing happened in a nighttime dream. So what's being suggested here, that everything that's appearing, it's kind of like, you know what, if you hold one illusion as real, then there is a maintenance of it. There's nothing wrong or right about illusion. It's just an illusion. And for example, if the house caught on fire, I'm going to say, hey guys, the house is on fire. I'm going to call the fire department or something. So in the felt sense of realness, everything is going to feel real, including the body. It's not saying that that there's no there's a denial of it. There's no denial here. It's just a seeing that everything that is being expressed is an illusion, including reality, body, or whatever.
But why everything, every creature, everything, that they are also a body? Why everything want to be survive? I don't want to wear my hand or like a dog or cat. Maybe they don't say that it's mine, my hand, but they still have a feeling of they.
That's just another story that's being created, right? It's maintenance of the story. There are no others. There are no cats. There are no dogs. They're just appearances of the emptiness appearing as cats, dogs, feelings, ideas. And it's trying to nitpick now, right, of what's being expressed here. So, it keeps on maintaining. I don't know if you're catching it. It keeps on maintaining the story that something is real when it's being expressed that nothing is real.
So everything which they want to survive, it's not real.
Survive is just another word. You know what I'm saying? It's just another story.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, it's maintenance. It's maintenance. It's trying to maintain the illusion of reality. So there's this idea of survival, idea of cats, dogs, whatever. It's just all a story. Yeah. It's a circular thing.
It's wrong seeing them.
It's just, yeah.
Wrong seeing.
There's no wrong or right. You know what I'm saying? It's just all of these is just appearances. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Cher. All right.
Killer.
Kathy. Hey, Kathy.
Hi. Hi again.
Hello.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I was it's getting hung up on that too, the body. And yesterday, Jim had a meeting, a talk, or whatever you want to call it. And I asked him, I said, well, the body needs the food, the clothing, the shelter, this, all these basic needs this body needs. If you stop eating, you're going to die eventually. Yeah. And then, well, who's making the choice? You're not even making that choice to eat or not, okay, so I'm not even going there. But like he said, And I don't know exactly because, you know, I forget and I'll have to wait till the video comes out. He said, just like you said, if your house catches on fire, you're going to run out.
Yeah.
There is a survivorship. There is some, the body,
Let's call
not alive in the flesh. There's something about survival with the body. And
let's call it reaction. There's an apparent reaction and there's apparent illusion. For example, if somebody pushes you, you'll be like, what'd you do? That kind of thing, right? If there's a fire, you're going to run out. If you're hungry, you're going to eat. If there is, everything is a maintenance of the story, including survival. So it's maintaining its reality.
Mm-hmm. Say that again. It's maintaining. It's what? Survival is maintaining the
That's
illusion?
just another story, right? Everything is a maintenance of the story that everything is real. So for a reality to maintain its reality, there's a story about survival. There's a story about, but there's also a story about getting rid of it. There's also stories about suicide. There's also,
of course, yeah.
So it's just
like
not
if
one
you make
thing.
a choice not to eat, But the instinctual part of like you're crossing the street, the car comes around, you run.
Yeah, let's not even call it instinctual. Let's just call it an apparent reaction. Everything will have a reaction. There's a reaction of someone running to the car to kill itself. There's also going to be a reaction of avoiding it. Yeah. It's just that we're nitpicking at something that is maintaining the story, right? It's just a nitpicking. It's maintaining this story that everything is real. So it's coming up with things right now because I think usually, and this is just another story, when there is kind of like almost like kind of like what Catherine was saying earlier, right? There's this frustration because it's maintaining its reality when it's kind of like almost kind of like an interrogation that there's nothing there. And it comes up. There's this meeting apparently happens quite a lot, and there's this moment in the meeting, especially kind of like what you said. They're like, oh, that that beautiful fantasy thing, and then there's this one that is really challenging because it confronts, what I'm saying, that there is no one there, and the one that's been confronted basically will maintain, well, like, how about this? How about that? How about the body? How about this? And it just becomes this kind of like so it's nitpicking. It's trying to grasp up something. It's trying to grasp up like the idea of survival instinct. And although it keeps on getting mentioned that everything is just an idea, everything is just a concept, it will try to pick something that, well, how about this? This is a body. This is not a concept. This is survival. That's not a concept. So it maintains itself over and over again, and it keeps on falling trap to what was being mentioned in the introduction, that everything is just really empty. It always comes out empty, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, and like she was saying, Catherine, I mean, no matter how many times I listen, and to whomever, it's always, I got a headache, I got tinnitus, I got a stomach ache.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something, it's something not so much like it used to be. Like when I first started listening, wow.
Oh, yeah.
I thought my head was going to blow up. It was bad. No, I mean, it was bad. There was a lot of pain, a lot of physical pain in the head and stuff. So, but I mean, anyway, the nitpicking goes on. Okay.
The nitpicking goes on, and sometimes there's sessions like that, right? I really like this long formats because it you'll see, what I'm saying? This is just another story.
Well, I have to go out today.
Oh, you're gonna miss you're gonna miss the best one that's happening the next session. I'm just joking.
Get my 2 cents in. But anyway, I'm just, it's just going through it. Anyway, thanks so much, Emerson. Thanks so much.
Apparently in the story, when there's nitpicking, there's usually kind of like, and this is just a story again, there's usually kind of like, I'm like, because it tries to go with the littlest things, right? And it tries to build it up, blow it up as something that, well, according to my understanding, or, well, this is true to me, because what's being interrogated there is kind of like, you're in an interrogation room, like there's no one there. So it tries in its earnestness, what I'm saying, to come up with something that makes sense to them.
Yeah, and it sounds so silly.
Yeah. because there's
Still is.
usually in the introduction there's a sweeping kind of like of all beliefs and everything, so it comes up with instincts, it comes up with this realness here,
Yeah.
missing what was being expressed, that it's actually all empty, it's all empty presence. Yeah. But thank you. And
Another thing.
sorry, go ahead,
Anne,
Kathy.
okay.
No.
Well,
No.
I'll ask you next time. I have a whole book of things I need to ask. So the next time you ask, I'll ask you, because
Yeah.
meanwhile, in the meantime, I'm going to be working on it myself, nitpicking. Okay. Thanks.
It's all about that, the nitpicker of reality.
Yeah.
That's not an
Okay.
illusion. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, hello.
You guys hear?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Help, nothing's happening.
Okay.
It might be you, Emerson. Your voice is all robotic.
Oh no, it's real.
Sounds like a rock concert still. I might leave and come back to see if that changes some.
Go ahead, Anne. Hello, Anne?
Hi.
Yeah, hi.
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 Okay. What's happening here is like the trust. It's like everything has always been, but just trust. Have faith. Have trust. Trust there is nobody. Trust this is a story. Trust that because I guess it's if I'm using this language, it's the seeker wanting something and trusting that at some point it's gonna have it.
Yeah. But who's trusting though?
Yeah, I know, and
Yeah.
but it's just
It always comes out
what's
empty, doesn't
happening.
it?
Yeah, but that's just what's happening. It's this sort of always trusting and believing and throwing everything in, and there at some point, even when the body dies, you'll get it then, and
so
it's just
sorry, go ahead.
it's just what's here.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's still pumping out, stories like trust and everything, right? And it's just coming up with this it's a maintenance again. It's maintaining its existence by using trust now. It's maintaining its reality by creating a story that when the body dies, right? It just keeps on coming up with this concepts and ideas of what is and what should be. So it's trying to grasp, and it's and there's nothing wrong or right about that. That seems to be just what's happening. But since you talked about that, everyone seems to be longing for the absence of everything. So on the apparent deathbed, does anything really matter? Trust, positions, ideas, concepts, it all falls away. And there's just this seemingly eternal nothingness, that nothing really matters. So it keeps on pumping out these ideas like, I know it's just what's happening, but it keeps on nitpicking now. Kind of like what I was telling Kathy, that when there's this confrontation that there's nothing happening, it can create this seeming kind of like resistance to it, or it comes up with this different ideas about, I'm just trusting that this is true, but nothing is being requested here to trust this or not to trust this. This is just an illumination that nothing can be trusted, that nothing is really happening, that nothing is this. So whatever appears is it. Trusting, not trusting, whatever is happening, whatever is appearing, over ideas about, death and everything, when this is already death itself. meaning it's devoid, it's void of any ideas or any concepts. And all of these ideas and concepts will arise, seemingly coming out of nothing. But since there's no time, it's really nothing, appearing as concepts or ideas about trust, death, or whatever.
Oh no, I just it just seems that there's an over willingness to kind of just go with what's been said, and I guess I don't know. I know the
Thank you. And come back with more questions if you like. We have 4 more hours of this apparently, and then it's I like the longer format because it seemingly is like an exhaustion of questions, right? So let all the questions out. It's not going to get resolved because there's no resolver. It's just going to illuminate that there's really no questions and answers happening, that nothing is needed. Casey. Hey, Casey.
Hey, man.
Hey.
Hey. So.
Go ahead. Sorry.
What's that? No. What were you gonna say?
I can't remember now.
That's why I was doing that. I was like, guys, you gonna remember this time? Probably. No. Yeah. Just right now, from all the talking and chirping going on, it's made me feel pretty claustrophobic. And that's just what's happening. All the concepts being vacuumed out and things like that. But what I really liked is when you said it's just a reaction. It seems almost like when there's like questions about why things are happening or who it's happening to or whatever. It's just like these reactions that are happening, but people we're taking like ownership of them. What did I do in response to that, instead of this just happened in response to that or something.
The moment that ownership apparently happens, there is this seeming kind of like separation right away. That I feel this way, I do this and everything. There's this misidentification of this identity that doesn't really have any reality. That just is an illusion, right? So it goes into this identity crisis of what am I then and everything, and it's but the one that is asking all of these questions is the illusory self itself. So it tries to maintain it by trying to find itself, trying to nitpick, saying questions of reality, or this is happening to me. Well, according to me, this is how I feel, and it maintains that. It maintains that. Again, everything is in this perfect illusion of reality. It maintains its realness, and it will go. It goes all out. You know what I'm saying? Because there's the past, there's conditioning, there's a reaction, there's this story, there's a history, there's another speaker that speaks about this. But really, all of this is this, and there's nothing outside of this, and everything that is happening, everything that's getting mentioned, is kind of like pulling stuff from thin air. It's not really there. But it avoids this apparent empty presence that's being presented here, and it's denying it, right? That is all empty presence, and when there's usually a talk about this this kind of like opening, when there's just this clarification that there's nothing, it tries to pull stuff from thin air. Like, how about this? How about this speaker? How about this? How about that? And there's nothing wrong or right about that. It's just what's happening. But when it's seen that what's happening is just this when there was silence in the apparent beginning, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? There's going to be a kind of like, it's almost kind of like there's this suspension of all beliefs. And then the character boomerangs back and makes you saying, well, how about this? How about that?
It's like the science project volcanoes. It's like, oh no, there's quiet.
Yeah, it's getting challenged, right? Because there's this again, what's being expressed here is not really, and there's a lot of apparent, there's no others, but in the story there's a lot of seekers that had come here from a spiritual kind of like, path. So when they're saying that, well, there's no road, you were never on any road, and there's nowhere to go, it feels claustrophobic sometimes.
Yeah.
And it comes up with this and that and this and that, but there's nothing wrong or right about that. It's almost kind of like there's this spotlight there. It's really bright light, and it's hitting the eyes, and it's like, and it doesn't want to look directly at it because it's blinding it, because it's seeing that it's its own absence, but it doesn't want to see. It keeps on going to the far reaches of the corners of the apparent imaginary mind and say this, that, this, that, this, that. But yeah.
And then and then eventually what makes more sense is when you just say it's all just chirping, and we're just just human animals chirping.
And there's no one choosing to chirp or not.
And no one's doing it.
No one's choosing to do these talks, and no one's choosing to listen to these talks. It's just all in an apparent, maintenance of reality.
Right, and there's no maintenance. It's all a joke.
Yeah. The illusion is the maintenance, right? There's nothing to maintain.
Yeah, like so for the past 3 years at night, I usually have apocalyptic dreams. Some way the world's ending, or some way just something's being ripped out of under my feet, in some way. And it used to be really frightening, and I'm just used to it now.
Yeah.
And so last night even I dreamed I was being hunted by just people who were trying to kill me.
Yeah.
And then the next moment I'm in like a candy shop.
Yeah.
And for some reason I didn't care anymore about the fact that I was being hunted.
And all of a sudden
I'm looking for my favorite candy.
And apparently this is still a dream, right? It's apparently now you're talking about a dream within a dream.
And now I'm in this weird dream where I think I own stuff, and I had this dream last night.
Yeah. Brilliant, isn't it? Brilliant.
It is brilliant. All right, thanks, Emerson.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you.
Yep.
Good talking to you too. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay. I think Catherine had her hand earlier, but thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. We're going to take an hour break, and someone said that was really, thank you. Bye.
Wow.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Emerson.
Thank you, Emerson. Thanks, Emerson.
Thank you, Emerson.
Bye.
Thank you, Emerson.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye.
Bye. We'll see you in an hour.